The Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh, we took a left, but
Taycan.
It's like 700 horsepower. Excuse me, I think they're calling it 610 horsepower and 750 torque. But just like the Tesla, the torque is
instantaneous.
It's at zero.
Yeah.
It's at zero. So you saw in the video I sent you the fucking launch.
Yeah.
It's, you know, we're really splitting hairs here with the Tesla and the Porsche. What does 2.4 feel different from 2.5? Like, no, I don't know, but my eyes hurt.
Yeah,
after
same shit, right?
And the Porsche has this really interesting thermal management system. So Tesla, although they do a beautiful road car for the city, you know, they've never gone racing. They don't know about endurance racing or real high performance driving. I mean, you've seen them kind of struggle with the Nürburgring a little bit. It's a little harder than it looks over there.
What did happen with the Nürburgring with the Tesla?
I think they went over there with a prototype. They took the interior out of it.
Plaid prototype,
yeah,
right? Which means the wide body. It's a wide body version with 3 engines, I believe.
Yeah, they weren't talking about what it was, but I think it's a 3-motor car with a widened body and a different aero package and different tires. There were some, and they went back with one with a giant like GT3 wing on it too.
That's hilarious.
It seemed like the number they originally put out, and you guys talked about on the show, Jamie looked it up, was a compilation of best sector time. So they released this sort of theoretical best time, but they never actually ran that complete lap. The big difference between a Tesla and the Porsche right now is thermal management, managing heat and cool sort of where it needs to go. Yeah, there's the prototype. And I believe that Tesla can build, they're exactly the kind of company that can build a one-off prototype. They could go around the Nürburgring very fast. Like they're lean, they could do that.
You could see how it's wider.
It looks cool. It looks badass.
It does look
it looks
badass.
awesome.
But we didn't put out the Apex. Show me a photo of the Apex. Apex Tesla S.
So the Taycan has this really interesting thermal management system that integrates the brakes, the battery, the motors, and the cabin heat, cabin climate control, all in one system. And so it's very common that one system will need heat while the other needs to be cooled, and one will need. So if the brakes are hot, and they need to be cooled, but the cabin is cold and needs to be hot, they use the brake heat they can send heat or cold anywhere in the car it needs to go.
But go stay up there. Go back. Go back.
Looks okay. It's not that bad.
Oh, it doesn't let you change it?
It changes.
Oh, there it goes.
Look, that's not bad. It's okay. I've seen worse.
Swap everything out with carbon fiber, but they put dope wheels on it. But the interior is where the magic happens.
I would like to see the interior. I don't really see a point to doing body kits on EVs. But
I think the idea
there you go. Quilted leather, little armrest, some carbon.
I think the idea is that...
There you go.
Go back up. See on the left there with the body at the
wheels are nice.
Yeah, they put larger wheels, wider
tires. What are those
tires.
brakes? What does that say on it? Does that say unplugged on the brakes? Oh,
yes.
God.
I think that's their company.
It's called Unplugged Performance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Apex. Unplugged Apex S.
I mean, it's not for me.
I think they put carbon fiber brakes on it.
Are those carbon ceramic brakes?
Yeah, I think carbon ceramic brakes.
Oh, wow.
I think they
probably charge a lot of money for that.
I'm sure it's not cheap. Bitch.
I don't know. Maybe the interior, but I wouldn't. Carbon ceramic brakes. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they could do it.
19-piece
So with
carbon fiber body.
Porsche, so your Tesla, for instance, if you want max performance, like the hardest launch you can do, you got to have like 80% battery or more, and it'll only let you do a couple of them in a row before it starts to get noticeably slower. Right. You know what I mean? It'll let you launch, but you want that 2.5 or whatever it is. It's only going to be your first couple launches where you get it.
Right.
The Taycan will give you full performance until the battery's dead.
Whoa.
So I did a full bore launch control start with like 40 miles of range on the battery.
Now, how many miles can it get from fully charged?
In theory, 300.
In theory.
Yeah.
But that's you driving like an old lady.
So I was able to drive around normally, and I found that the range estimate was pretty accurate. I only got the car for one day. So it was pretty accurate. And then I went to the canyons, and in that video, I burned off 40% of the battery just making that video.
Really?
Yeah. It would be the same in a Tesla. It's not. It's when you start driving real fast in EVs, bro. Yeah. You're just smoking through battery.
But and do you think that with the demand, technology will improve to the point where they can get like real range out of these things? Like the theoretical range of the Tesla Roadster was like 600 miles, but again, that's never been done. Right?
I think. So I'm not an expert on EVs, and there's like electrical engineers that will be screaming fucking at their iPods right now.
Well, it's
I believe, I know, right? I believe that the 300-mile range is that's a good amount of range. The key that we will see that will really be a game changer is battery charge times. Can we get a charge in 5 minutes or 10 minutes and not 30 minutes or an hour?
Right.
And the number of stations, the opportunity to charge.
And that's an issue with the Porsche over the Tesla is they don't have the supercharging network, right?
Correct. Although they are using the Electrify America network, which is actually, it's another one of the networks that's meant for
big?
like normal EVs. It's actually bigger.
Really?
But they don't have as many super high-speed chargers. So the Tesla and all EVs on the market right now, except the Taycan, all the rest are 400-volt systems, okay? And the Tesla is probably the best, most efficient use of 400-volt architecture. 800-volt architecture, if Porsche is to be believed, is more efficient. It's a lighter setup. It flows in and out faster than the 400-volt system. There's a couple other advantages to it, but it can charge really, really fast through the correct chargers. There just aren't that many of the super fast ones around. There's only 3 in LA right now. One is in Burbank, at the Best Buy in Burbank is the closest one to here. And I charged one from almost dead to almost full in about 18 minutes.
Wow.
At that one, yeah. But there just aren't very many. So
you can go, stop, grab a cup of coffee, get a bite to eat
go to
real
Best
quick.
Buy.
Stroll around.
Yeah.
You come out, you got 80% of your juice.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It went fast enough that I could watch it go 6, 7.
Really?
8. Yeah. It was pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah, if they get the number of stations right, I think the real problem with EV adoption, especially in a place like LA, is the infrastructure, man. I don't think this city generates enough electricity through its grid for all of us to be charging cars at home.
That's a good point, right? Because it would, if we got all the millions of cars that are now charging, it would radically change everything.
Yeah.
Unless everybody switches over to solar.
Even solar, I don't think is
homeowners.
efficient enough.
Right.
That's the other problem is now it's a homeowners thing. And so like EVs are awesome. Like if you like how an EV drives and you like the experience of owning one and it works for your life, like 1,000% get an EV. But is a 90% EV adoption rate in LA something that's really realistic? Like not anytime soon. Dude. What do we need to talk about with cars? Is there anything else happening in the industry that you want to know about?
Well, I mean, the Taycan, I don't think we've like completely covered it. No, my question with all of these cars is what is next? Right? It's like we're seeing these incredible 0 to 60 under 3 second times.
Yeah.
We're going to eventually see the range increase. But if you had asked me 10 years ago, are we going to see a 2.4 0 to 60 sedan that feels like it's violating physics when you stomp on the gas? I mean, that's what I drive. It has a laptop for a screen.
We've gotten to about, I don't know, right maybe 10 years ago or so, the trajectory of increased performance got very steep. Yeah. Where, the new version of every car has 100 more horsepower.
It's crazy.
And now we've got these high performance EVs, and with a high performance EV, you've built a dragster. That's a fucking dragster. I mean, the Taycan does a quarter mile in the low 10s. I mean, so you can, I don't want to be flippant and say all it takes is money, but all it takes is money. You walk into a dealer and you're buying a dragster that, you still need an NHRA license to run that fast. Now you could do it on the way to Whole Foods.
That's crazy.
And so with Taycan, the real difference for me between Taycan and Tesla is the steering and handling, because Teslas have very video gamey steering. Yeah. It's accurate and it's sharp, but it's not.
You don't feel it.
No. The Taycan has the steering system from the Porsche 992, and so it feels like a Porsche. And so when I drove it, I texted you. I go, Joe, this is for you.
Well, Tesla figured out how to make it go fast, and they figured out how to make it handle pretty good.
How to make it cool.
Yeah,
they figured out how to make an EV cool, because EVs, remember the RAV4 EV? Fucking Ed Begley was driving in the 90s. Like,
what is this, Jamie?
Video they had. I was just going to put it on so you could...
One of the things that makes Porsche Taycan different is they have a 2-speed transmission. Your Tesla is 1 gear. So your Tesla from 0 to 120 is bananas, but it pretty much dies off because it runs out of gear. Because most people don't really need to go faster than that.
Right.
But Porsche, with their Autobahn stuff, they need more at the top end. So the Taycan actually switches into second gear and keeps pulling like crazy, you know, above 80 to 100 miles an hour. And the biggest difference, though, dynamically, is like, you know how in your Tesla you can drive with one foot? Like one pedal. When you lift off the pedal, it brakes the car.
Yeah.
And so you can pretty much drive around with one foot. Taycan doesn't do that. So Porsche believes that the kinetic energy built up by motion is better used by allowing the car to just coast as far as possible than by hitting the regen and capturing it in the form of braking the way that Tesla does. Now, you can turn that function off in the Tesla.
Does that have an impact on like if it's doing that? Does it have an impact on the way it feels?
Well, it feels. I mean, yes, because you have to use the brakes more in everyday
Does it
situations.
slow down the car quicker to use the brakes more? Have regenerative? The way
No,
Tesla
it
does
doesn't necessarily slow the car down faster.
So it doesn't
just
make a
means that
slower
you do
60 to 0 time.
No. In fact, if I believe that Porsche is ultimately better at that. It's the only real difference is that when you lift off the gas in a Tesla, it slows down as if someone is applying the brakes.
Yeah.
In the Porsche, you just pure coast. It's a pure coast, and it's a really. It's an even more of a coast feeling than a gasoline car. It's like you're freed of all restraint.
Wow.
Like, because after I'm fucking mobbed up the mountain making that video that I sent you, I was like, oh shit, dude. I've only got like 40 miles of range left. I got to get off this fucking hill. Yeah. And so I was at the high point in the hill and I go, let's coast. And so I just coasted and I was like, let's see how far I can go without touching the brakes. And I got this motherfucker coasting up to like 100 miles an hour, taking corners and not using the brakes because the handling and the grip were so good. I coasted like 12 miles down the hill.
Dude, what about a deer? What about a boing, boing, boing right in front
alertness.
of you? Boom.
It's about that alertness.
Splatter. Also,
dude, I've seen some crazy shit while I'm filming, and I've never been able to not stop the car.
No, I believe me. I know you can drive.
I saw the guy pulling a log down the road, just on a chain.
Oh my god!
There was a guy in a Ford Explorer driving in a windy canyon like this.
Didn't you make a video of this?
Yeah, I caught it on camera, and with a log like the size of like a car engine, just free on a chain,
swinging,
taking out signs.
Jesus Christ!
Craziness. Sometimes I almost threw that video in the garbage too.
It's amazing how little of that there really is.
Oh yeah, here it is.
People are so goddamn crazy.
I think it right there. Back it up 20 seconds, Jamie. 20 more. Yeah. So come around this corner. Look. Log.
That guy's got a log.
Just free dragging that shit.
That is so crazy that he thinks that's okay.
And if you back the video up like 30 more seconds, Jamie, you can actually see, not from the very beginning, a little forward, you can see the trail that the log has made on the road. It made like a line of kind of dirt on the road, and it goes back and forth across the road, and you go, well, what the hell was that?
Dude, that's so crazy. You know what's really crazy about that? That could start a fire.
Oh my God.
Couldn't it?
Probably, but it could also swing into an oncoming car. That's like a 500-pound log.
Yeah, it definitely could swing into an oncoming car. That guy definitely doesn't have control of it. It's definitely a terrible, terrible idea.
No. But I managed to stop a supercharged Lamborghini doing that. That's, by the way, dude, that's not my YouTube video. Someone has stolen my YouTube video.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah. Gotcha. Motherfuckers.
These motherfuckers.
Yo, dude, hit that fraud protection, Jamie.
That's incredible. That's a crazy thing to see. Yeah, there's knuckleheads out there, man. There's a lot of them.